And welcome back to the studio. 7-1 crushing loss to the Kookaburras, the best team in the world, the Australians displaying their prowess against India. Now this is a lopsided loss, but I think there are lessons for India to take from today. We have some outstanding players and a good win, in fact good wins over the last 2 years over many ranked teams, but not today. In the studio with me today is Sakshi Mandwa and Ravikant Singh. Sakshi, the last hour or so we witnessed 4 different quarters here. Third quarter a little close, but before we turn to Ravikant, your view on this game and what you saw from the Indian men in blue.
See, here at the end of the day, I honestly did not think that we would be getting outplayed by the Australians in such a horrendous way. I did think that we would be putting up a fight, but that never came to front, except of course in the third quarter and the fourth quarter, where we saw a little bit of game plan or rather game coming out of the Indians. Apart from that, I think the second quarter, it was a disaster for India. In the first quarter, there was only 1 goal that the Australians managed to get from themselves. In the second quarter, we saw that the Australians managed to get 2 more goals, and I'll bring Ravi into the conversation now. In fact, you were commentating also, Ravi, on the same thing, and you've been saying that how the second quarter would be the most decisive quarter in this game, especially for the Indians. Your words did come out to be true.
Well, see, when you watch the pattern of the game or the pattern of play, Indians come out a little jaded after the warm-up. I don't know why that happens. So they play the first quarter very well. Second quarter, the form dips, and then they catch their second breath after half-time. So we'll see a good third quarter and then a strong first part of the fourth quarter. Now this is something that the coaches need to understand. Why is it happening?
Yeah, we have an Australian coach, interestingly, playing against his country this time. But I think, Ravikant, you're saying something that I think could be important if that really is what plays out. I mean, we're talking about an equalization this time in India, the contingent's getting larger, the athletes are getting access to technology, they're getting access to nutrition, to training methods. But Ravikant, what you're saying today is that Indians literally are still running out of breath, and I think this is a controllable. When it comes to stamina, it is something that can be controlled. When it perhaps comes to certain things around hand-eye coordination, I mean, there's certain things that are nature and there's nurture here. Yeah. Are you saying, Ravikant, that there is scope for training that we have not exploited yet?
I think more than just training, it is the mindset. When we go in after a warm-up, we are all set to go absolutely gung-ho. But then we try and conserve ourselves because we know there are 3 more quarters to go. So in the second quarter, tend to hold back. And that is where we start making mistakes. If you look at the goals in the second quarter, that's where we conceded 3 goals in a space of 5 minutes and the match was gone. But each of those goals was a defensive error.
Yes.
The defense being slightly flat-footed, just that half a second late in that tackle, and that makes all the difference between winning and losing.
Right. Also, do you think that somewhere the fact that we've always talked about the Indian hockey team when we've looked at them from the angle of them always playing defensive, do you think that also is one of the major concerns that the Indian hockey team needs to look into? Because most of the times we see that they lack the aggressive outright going out front and playing attitude, which we see especially from the topmost teams in the world.
I don't think it's a question of strategy so much as you mentioned the defensive play. I don't think India is playing defensive. In fact, if you look at the first quarter, India had the better chances. There was a Dilpreet deflection which didn't go on target. There was a Mandeep attempt which missed again. So Andrew Charter did not have an easy time in the first quarter. Let's be clear about that. In the first quarter, it was even Stevens, and that one Andy Beale goal separating the two sides in the first 15 minutes. So I think it was pretty much even Stevens at the end of the first quarter. Just that one little mistake, again, of the penalty corner, they managed to convert. India, of course, got 6 penalty corners, couldn't convert any.
No, I think the distance showed today, and remember, this is a league. There are 4 other games to go for India. There's Spain, there's Argentina, there's Japan. In fact, 3 more games to go. We're 1-1 so far. Not to panic, but there are some learnings. and hockey can look forward to bringing these learnings going ahead.